Hey everybody, this is Third Derivative, and we wanted to take you through our Lab 8 demo. As you can probably tell from my voice, I am a little bit sick, and I think we've all been just going through it this week. Um, so that is a little bit why we're just not up to where we usually are at with our labs. Um, but very briefly, we are looking at two key embedding stages in this lab. We are looking at Doc2Vec and Word2Vec. Um, we basically took our lab data from Lab 5, which had the scraped Reddit posts from subreddits like the comp sci Reddit, the CS majors Reddit, jobs, careers, internships. Um, and the reason this was relevant is because Reddit does provide informal, diverse, and opinionated text that spans so many ranges of topics. Just because we were taking Lab 5 data, a lot of our topics had to do with internship and job search in like the tech field. Um, with that being said, we did have a little bit of a pipeline to prep the data. This did start with taking our CSV file of the Reddit posts, which contain information like the titles, the timestamps, and the text. And then we worked with cleaning and normalizing it, tokenizing the words with NLTK, filtering out empty posts and duplicates, and then saving the cleaned corpus to the serialized PKO file for reproducibility. So this also helped just make sure that we had everything prepared and ready to go for Doc2Vec and Word2Vec. And then with that being said, I'm going to pass the floor to Nurali to talk a little bit more about Word2Vec and Doc2Vec. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Tanya. As the lab suggests, there are two ways of embedding documents. It could be Word2Vec and then bins or Doc2Vec. So basically, the difference is using Word2Vec, first we learn the vector representations for individual words, and there are two ways of going about it. One is called continuous bag of words, and the second one is called skipgram. And so I won't go in detail, but we used both of them. And so the first one, like it helps predict a target word based on the surrounding words. And while skipgram it predicts the surrounding words based on the target word. And using that, once we learn the weights, the values of the weights will be the vector embedding for that word. And so after we have embedded the word, um, to represent a whole document, we'll now need to use a binning approach. So basically, we need to cluster all the words with similar embeddings into clusters, and the k value could be whatever is defined by us. And once we have put them into clusters, then we will represent each document as a histogram of how those words fall in each of those clusters. And thus we'll get a fixed size vector per document, which could be later clustered and visualized. So that's how Word2Vec is used to embed, while Doc2Vec is embedding document wise, not word to wise. So it has, you could say, like we could have more context of what words are after a certain word and what words are before. And so this directly embeds the entire document instead of word by word. And so now I'll just share the code for how we did it. Yeah, let me just share it. Mhm. Just share my screen. Okay. Yeah, could you see my screen? So yeah, we use the GenSim library to conduct both Doc2Vec and Word2Vec. And so basically, this is for Dr. We used also the sklearn library for the k-means clustering. And yeah, we have first tokened the documents. Oops. And okay, and also we have chosen the configurations for the vectors to be of size 50, 100, and 300 so we could compare, which we will later be doing. And so, yeah, this was for Doc2Vec. And basically, the metrics that we used was silhouette score along with these other two to see how well the clusters have been formed after we have used the sklearn k-means clustering. And we also use the sklearn library of PCA for like the principal component analysis to um, help visualize the clusters by decreasing the dimension because it's hard to visualize three like a dimension of 300. So we use PCA to decrease the dimension to visualize the clusters better. So these are the libraries we used. And finally, we got the silhouette and the Davies and Kalinsky scores for Doc2Vec and Word2Vec. And as I said, we are comparing with these three values as the size of the vector 50, 100, and 300. And the K value, we hyperparameter tuned it. So we found out what would be the best K. Even in our previous lab, it was around 4. Um, um, because it's surrounding the topic of internships and jobs. So we thought 4 would be um, sufficient number of clusters for the topic we are working on. And so basically, in the results, we got that Doc2Vec performed a bit. Um, so yeah, okay, so here we got the results, but after some time we found out that the data that we were working with was not that well cleaned yet. It had a lot of missing values and some duplicates as well. So we had to work on that to get better results. So now I think I'll pass it on to Steve to discuss more upon how we better the data to get better results. Yeah.
Um, yeah, give me a bit. I completely forgot I need to do something. Uh, taking a bit, sorry. All right. So before um let's just go through the screen, I guess. So before today, we well before yesterday technically. We thought we were done with the lab. We got some decent results. So here this would be our other well, here's a spoiler. But this would be the other lab that we were supposed to be finishing by yesterday. And as you can see, we have all of the steps here. So we prepare our data, we download the stop words, basically the very usual stuff you would see in Lab 5. We run Doctorvec, we run binning, sorry, Word2Vec binning to save results for different case, and we evaluate results. This would be fine. We see that in general, Doctorvec does comparatively worse compared to Wordbins, and this was a bit surprising if you compare it to this later. Um, and we were wondering why this was the case. So I ended up writing something to inspect the clusters, and I believe this is also part of the lab. And this is what we got. So it's just a bunch of nuns, an impressive amount of nuns and NaNs. And we were very surprised as to why this was a thing. So this was our like initial lab 8, not this one. And as you can see, the bug is here. We it, we initially did not expect a lot of nuns and NANs in our dataset, but since we do this, uh, a lot of the output that was supposed to be nuns got stringified into nuns the string and NANs the strings and then lowered. And this is where we figure out where the issue was, and this was very surprising because I don't think any of us expected this to begin with. And it just keeps on going. So I believe at the end we did remove, nope, we did not remove anything. So we ended up like preparing a different file. This time around we removed a lot of uh strings with missing values, and it's like 80% of the data set. We also got some sample clean documents if it helps. And there are a few like issues here and there. I'm not sure why the warnings pop up, but we basically reran everything. Nothing too interesting. And this time around, for cluster results, I will go through these two values later. But this time around for cluster results, we see some really interesting uh clusters. S- Some of some of them comes from a video creator apparently, which is just hi, I created this video, and we can see it in like some of these clusters. Um, they never ended up being in the same cluster, however. I'm not sure why. I believe this is because of the different uh topics at hand, such as here we're talking probably about recommender systems, real-time transformer models, server-based. So this seems to be strongly on technical stuff. This this is mainly about interviews. Like we can start seeing clusters form that have some meaning, which is really helpful. And I don't believe we have time, but if we go through more of these, we will see the same idea. And we get some results. But before we actually look at the results, I believe within the lab, Professor Cho requested a few what's the word for it? What do you call these things? Shoot, I forgot. A few variables to compare to. I apparently blanked out on the word.
Yeah,
Amazing. Yes.
evaluation metrics. Yeah.
Yes, eval metrics. So we found two more. The silhouette was silhouette metric. Figure we should bring it up. So this one was the initial one we used. You'll probably see it in the other dataset, which we also brought up. Here. Wait, this I reran. Oh yeah, this is a new one. Well, we initially used a silhouette. Wait, that's not the initial one. Hello? Oh yeah, because I rewrote it. Yeah. I added this. Oh my God. I am so old. So the silhouette was the initial one we used. I'm so sorry. I'm starting to blank out too. And then we found out the Davis-Bowden index and the Kalinske-Harab-Bas index. I do not know how to spell the name, but the silhouette is basically just apparently, a method of validating consistency within clusters of data. Um, I don't remember what it exactly does, but as far as I remember, like any value that is one, like closer to one is good, and any value that's closer to -1 is bad. Because if it's one, it means that the clusters are well separated and the values within each other are very close to each other. And if it gets closer to -1, you basically get a concentric circle of where all the points is mingle. So that's the first one I remember. Second one is a Davis-Bowden index. Um, I believe this is just bigger, yeah, bigger value bad, smaller value good. I don't remember why. I saw it through the scikit-learn open source library, and so I just decided to include both of them together. And for this one, it's just between clusters divided by Wisdom cluster. So this one's more obvious. The higher the CHI index, the better. That's interesting. So this will be a bit hard to look, but several things that are very noteworthy. The silhouettes compared to the previous versions were much lower, especially for Word2Vec, where it was 0.83, whereas for Doc2Vec, apparently it did uh the silhouette weren't as prone to uh errors in data. And this may be because Word2Vec focuses a lot more on histogram. Was it right, Narali? Like comparing histograms of data and combining them together based on cluster value. I don't really remember. But this is also why we see a lot of like really high silhouettes and uh yeah. Compare this to I believe Word2Vec here, where we see much lower silhouettes, like much more drastic changes, whereas Doc2Vec still has relatively like the dip wasn't as severe. So I think this says a lot about how more stable Doc2Vec is. And we can also see this through our outputs. Keep on putting everything in download, so I need to not do that. Um, no, this is not as helpful. As you can see here, Doc2Vec has, well, okay, uh, Word2Vec, first of all, we can see like more separated clusters. But at the same time, we see a lot more mingling between the blue, which is cluster 0, oh no, cluster 3, and red, which is cluster 1. We see a lot of mingling between the data points here, which I believe was the main reason why the silhouette light value was so low. As I said, if the mingling is really large, the silhouette metric is really affected. Whereas here, where while we see quite a bit of mingling between the clusters, we also see that they form like different groups of um different clusters that are somewhat separate. So we can kind of draw out the silhouette of the points here. And I think this says a lot about how different these two approaches are. And honestly, I would have delved into this deeper if not for the fiasco that made us delete 80% of the data, but it is what it is. Couple more cool things. One thing to notice that red is actually good and green is bad. I flipped the color scheme, such amazing, so wow. But for some reason, more clusters and less dim. Actually, this is not that surprising. When there are too many clusters but no meaningful separation of data, you get more. Uh, I believe this value becomes higher and this becomes a bit lower. And I'm not so sure about the dimension, but I assume the dimension would increase. Oh, the dimension would definitely increase the between sum of squares. So a few interesting things we see here. This one I'm much less sure. I am fully not aware of why five clusters is just this one thing where all of the values like uh, they just go up by 0.2 for some reason. I'm not sure we understand why. I don't think I understand the Davis-Bowden uh index that well either. And for the silhouette heat map, we can also see a gradient that goes on like this down and upside, which I guess makes sense. Um, we also have some of the index results comparing between Dr. Vec and Word2Vec bins. Dr. Vec just consistently performs better. And well, I think the reason behind what we said on how Word2Vec just uses histogram of words and as a result doesn't effectively uh deal with nuances that well the hellhole of nuances as we call Reddit. This this is still a bit surprising, especially as more dimension leads to much lower CH score for Word2Vec. You would think the opposite is true. Wait, this is actually very surprising. Hello? Oh wait, I thought it was trivia. Okay, well, I also don't know why. So a lot of these things, we only figured out later on, and we didn't really have time to analyze all of them. Like some of them make sense, but a lot of them was just like really surprising, given
Yeah.
how we thought it was trivial.
Yeah.
It clearly is not.
I think we focused on more on silhouette score, right? The other two
Yeah,
were,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these we only figured out later on because like I said, we thought that more indexes would be helpful. But even within these scores, we see a lot of really like suspicious trends. This is not supposed to happen if we use Euclidean distant values. Oh, we use cosine for these. Jesus. That's why. I keep on planking out. Um a few more results for different bins. I mean, nothing very surprising. For these, it's probably the same difference. But these are just, oh wait, no, this is just each of the images not smushed into one. Um, as I mentioned, nothing special. We can see the clusters forming. Even when there's a bit of mingling, it doesn't affect the silhouette as much as when two clusters are almost overlapping. And I think that's it. Honestly, honestly, oops, sorry. Honestly, given the time constraint, this is um insanely surprising, I will say. We figured out a lot of new things over the last 2 days, a lot of which was because we celebrated my birthday. And then there was there was an Indian holiday. The other two will probably be better equipped to talk about them. And then I think we just felt sick. But even then, over the last 2 days, we found out a lot of like different uh changes to our code, and I'd say we did all right. Y'all want to talk about anything else?
No, we're just gonna say happy birthday, Steve.
Happy birthday, Steve.
Insane. Thank you, thank you. You know what? You know what? For the sake of this, should we show like one of those vids? Which one should we show? You
Oh
know what?
Lord.
Not your
You know
marriage
what? We
one. Maybe the
should.
singing one? Do you have the singing one?
It's here.
Where we
Well,
three sing.
we have a lot of images
Yeah, this is
on.
the content dump from Steve's birthday day.
Yep. We
We
went
went
a
to the
lot of
Bradbury
places.
building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We took Steve to Grand Central Market.
Yeah. It
Yep.
was really pretty and
Yeah.
majestic.
Look at that.
He was the Blade Runner for a few hours.
Yeah.
True. I believe I even took one. Yeah. Here.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's the Blade Runner plaque.
Yep. Then we went to City Hall.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
cosplayed as mayor for a few hours as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were just
Oh Lord.
do you want to fast forward to where we three are singing? I
That's a good video. That's a good
Boo.
one.
Which one is it though?
the like my heart will go on that song, right?
Oh, this one.
Is it this?
And all three of us are at the podium.
I don't think it's this.
I don't know how school appropriate some of these are.
Yeah.
It,
These
it,
are the
it
trap.
yeah, it was definitely very appropriate, guys. A
Yeah,
very
it was.
appropriate
It was.
use of taxpayer.
Yeah, this is the bonus content for anyone who's sticking around.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was just trying to sing something.
I think I think it's one of the later videos where it's all three of us.
Yep.
Yeah, where is it?
No, go back a few.
Oh,
Did we take it?
stop.
We did.
No, it's there. I think I see it. No,
Oh
before.
yeah. Well, yeah, here's a view outside.
Yeah, we went to City Hall, we went to the observatory deck, we took a look at downtown LA, tried to
Hmm.
find USC. Did we find USC?
We
No.
barely did. It was like so far off.
Yeah.
We went to Cathedral Church.
The
Cathedral.
cathedral, yes. We learned about Christianity as well.
Real.
I feel like you skipped it. It's
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely somewhere, but
I
we
didn't
took
see
more
it.
images. Yes, it's definitely somewhere. Yeah, whatever. Yes, just a bunch of images from
Yeah,
our trip.
yeah.
Honestly, yeah, it was definitely fun,
Oh,
whatever,
Yeah.
happened.
it's really
Oh,
fun.
should we show them the Santa Monica content?
Oh yes, sure.
Yeah.
This
Wow.
is from
We're just gonna
last
make
week's
it like
lab.
2 years
Wait,
now.
the Cheesecake Factory, we missed it. Okay,
Oh, we
wait.
never showed them the cheesecake picture.
No, we never missed it. It's here.
It's right there.
Yeah, so we'll show it. We could
Oh
show.
yeah, 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 yeah. I see what you mean. So I bel this was a terrible picture.
It
Why
was
do I have it here? That's insane.
no.
But
Second
Oh,
life.
it's
Oh, that's a
actually
good one.
pretty. That's
yeah,
good.
but we were just running and
Yeah,
yeah,
before the sunset set.
yep.
Yes.
So for context, if you remember last week's lab, we spent 3 hours at a cafe and
Yeah.
we killed ourselves. Well, no, we didn't kill ourselves, but we spent 3 hours just staring at the EC2
AWS.
instance. Yep,
Yeah.
We
killing
learned
itself.
that we
There we
should
go.
spend the money to pay for
Yep, we
ET2.
should spend the money. And yeah, the rest is just like we just take a bunch of pictures.
Yeah.
It was really pretty, as you
Yep,
could see.
Yeah.
yeah.
So if our LinkedIn is really popping off, you know
Hmm.
why.
And then there's this one. And I took a few for,
For the visual appeal.
yeah, for the visual appeal.
Yeah.
And we saw clowns.
Yeah, we were clowned at Santa Monica as well for
We
how
were
long we
clowns.
took with EC2.
We were literally shown a clown, but
Yep. It's just zooming at us, I believe.
It didn't show just once, it showed twice. So that's how you know it's for us.
Yep. And then yeah, I
Yeah.
was
This is
harassed
Steve's
into
pre-birthday
a happy
yeah,
photo.
birthday by the
Because
staff.
rumor has it that Steve forgot his birthday last year. So
yeah.
before
I
his
mean,
actual birthday,
It's
we
a
had to
sad
celebrate that
rumor.
birthday first.
that is true. That is true. Well, I didn't forget my birthday. I believe I just overworked by it. So
Yeah,
here I am on Tanya's computer working
yeah,
and then celebrating my birthday.
yeah. Taking a little break for the
Yep.
birthday.
So there you go. We're just working. And
Oh yeah, and then we ordered tiramisu for
Oh
Steve's
yeah, how
actual
was
birthday.
it?
It was so
yeah,
good.
Is it?
It
It
was so
looks good. It looks
yep. So this is actually the night when where we went to downtown LA and the
yes.
place was gorgeous.
yeah, it's really
Yep,
Really
good.
recommend Macaroni Republic in
Mhm.
downtown LA.
Yeah,
definitely
Beautiful.
do. Yep.
Yeah, this
Oh,
is
and
the
I got married here, apparently, to Mrs. Air.
Yeah.
yeah, his imaginary girlfriend.
Yeah,
Yep.
we visited the chapel. Yeah.
Yeah. We
Yep.
were the officiants of the wedding.
But yeah, a lot of things happened.
So that is why we are now ill because we just
Yeah,
were out the whole day.
yeah,
Yep.
I think, yeah.
But it
It
was
was,
worth it.
Yeah,
yeah.
really
I
was.
mean, and even then we learned a lot in this lab that it went quite beyond just like I think the one thing we learned from this lab is just how stupid data can be.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
is true.
Yeah. Mhm.
And
How
how
long things can
yeah.
take to load.
Yep. And yeah, just oh yeah. And here I would also like to say that Brawl is so bad. Please, why
Mhm.
would you ever use Brawl? Just use o.reddit and then beautiful soup. But don't use Brawl. Brawl is balls. But
Steve.
yeah, we learned a lot. Like that's that's why I'm so like that's what
I
we're telling you,
agree.
man. We learned a lot.
Yeah,
Yep,
we
we
did.
did learn a lot. Okay, I guess
All
with that being
right.
said, we're third derivative signing off, right?
Yeah,
All
signing
right.
off.
See ya.
Bye.
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 Okay.